This is the image that many have long feared would signal the end of humanity, a nuclear apocalypse. But members of the Bulletin of the atomic scientists now say there's a list of threats getting the human race closer to oblivion. And they have increased the likelihood of it happening, moving their famous clock closer than ever to the doomsday hour.
It is the determination of the Bulletin's Science and Security Board that humanity has not made sufficient progress on the existential risks that endanger us all. We thus move the clock forward.
The Chicago-based non-profit group of scientists created the Doomsday Clock in 1947 during the Cold War. They wanted to highlight, in graphic terms, how close humankind was to destroying the world. The clock started ticking, and by the end of the Cold War, the time was 17 minutes to midnight. But the group has gone from counting down the minutes to counting down the seconds.
The Doomsday Clock is now at 85 seconds to midnight, the closest it has been in the history of the clock. Last year, we warned that the world was perilously close to catastrophe and that countries needed to change course towards international cooperation and action on the most critical existential risks. Unfortunately, the opposite has happened. Rather than heed this warning, major countries became even more aggressive, adversarial, and nationalistic.
This is the third time in 4 years the scientists have moved the clock closer to midnight, Armageddon time. A year ago, the clock was showing 89 seconds. Aggressive behavior by nuclear powers Russia, China, and the United States hasn't helped. Nor have conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East, a trend that seems to be set to continue throughout 2026 with Israel's ongoing attacks on Gaza and Russia's continued aggression. US President Donald Trump isn't helping with his actions in Venezuela and threats to Iran and Europe over Greenland.
Conflicts intensified in 2025 with multiple military operations involving nuclear-armed states. The last remaining treaty governing nuclear weapon stockpiles between the U.S. and Russia expires next week. For the first time in over half a century, there will be nothing preventing a runaway nuclear arms race.
They're also increasingly worried about artificial intelligence and biotechnology and the lack of controls around them. Climate change was already an issue, but they say it's only getting worse. But despite all the doom and gloom, the scientists still have hope.
We created these problems, and thus we have the ability to fix them. And it can't be done all at once. There's no single elegant solution for any of the problems that we're facing, but these problems are solvable.
Despite all the threats, they have hope in humanity. A united international response just might turn back time. Pinar Nisasta, TRT World.